Alrighty, this is a recording that I was requested to do for tearing down a Viper Mini. The only tools that you're really going to need is a flat object. I got this off the back of a case for my PC. It's the GPU slot thing. And then a small Phillips head screwdriver. You want to go ahead and take the warranty sticker off of the back. You want to make sure that you have all three of the screw holes visible. And I'm going to start with those. Go ahead and take those out. Obviously don't lose them. Come off. Once the three screw holes at the bottom are done, you're going to start by taking off the Viper logoed little hump. There's a little crease and a crack here. I always start by putting my fingernail in, and then I take that flat object and I go ahead and put it in there. I'm going to make sure that I get 4 pops. There's going to be one on this side, one on this side, one up top here, and one up top here. So I got the left, I got the right, come back over to the left, got the left again, and got the right. Once all of those are done, the top comes right off. The top off, you want to separate the main body of the shell from the bottom. There is a crack here that I stick the same thin something in. There's a pop tab on this side and a pop tab on this side. Again, make sure you have the screws out, because if you try to force this without taking the screws, you'll break it. You want to pop the one ever so slightly on the left and pop the one on the right. The top shell will come right off. From here, there's going to be 5 screws. There's going to be 1 on each side of the scroll wheel, the 2 on top of the side buttons, and 1 on the bottom right hand side. And go ahead and take all those out right now. I do recommend a magnetic screwdriver. Once all 5 of the screws are out, you go ahead and you can take off the PCB. When you're taking out the cable, make sure that you only take off the top portion of it. The white housing does stay on the PCB, but just take off the actual cable part. You can use a pair of pliers or wiggle it back and forth with your fingernails. Mine was very tight. Just make sure you don't pull it the stands all the way through the PCB. Swap the cable. When routing it, I routed mine through this little S shape here. You can see there's a little standoff where one of the screws go. Kind of made a little S joint in there so it's nice and nestled, as well as I made sure I nestle this right here so nothing is resting on the stand or the edges, because when the top of the case finally goes back on, you need to make sure that nothing is in the way so it can all rest down. So essentially that is how you take it apart. And obviously reverse those steps. One caution when putting it back together is the top shell has 2 little slits on 1 on each side, and those correspond to the 2 little slits at the bottom. You want to make sure that when this goes down and on ever so slightly, you make sure the butt goes in first, and you make sure that those go in before you push down and close on it. If everything is out of the way, all of it should snap on, and ideally all this gap will go away when the full thing is snapped on, screwed on, and everything. And when you put it back together, if the triggers don't click, there's probably a wire that is in the way and it's not allowing the top shell to go fully on. You have to take it back apart and make sure your wiring is done correctly. So that is how you take apart a Viper Mini, and I do hope that helps someone.